All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a wild, incredibly rapid 37-word story. It's a tale of loss, economic recovery, and instant gratification. Honestly, it's absolutely fascinating how much of the human experience can be squeezed into just a few brief lines. Think of it as a masterclass in narrative efficiency. We get a complete, self-contained cycle of crisis and resolution, all playing out in literally mere seconds. So let's break down this micro-narrative. We kick things off with the universal inciting incident. Boom. We're hit immediately with a stark, two-word declaration of disaster. Oh no. Notice how there's no buildup, right? No preamble, no slow character intros. We are instantly dropped right into the exact moment things go off the rails. It's a sudden, unavoidable disruption of the status quo that completely grabs your attention and screams that the peace has been broken. Now, what's really interesting here is how immediate the physical and emotional stakes actually are. It's not just any mug, it's the favorite one. That specificity, calling it the favorite, elevates this from a standard, annoying household accident to a genuine micro-tragedy. And its placement on the floor, well, that signifies a completely shattered reality. The floor is basically the domain of broken things, gravity's ultimate consequence. In just a handful of words, the source material tells us exactly what is lost and, more importantly, how deeply it matters. Moving on to Section 1, the emotional response and managing the crisis. The disaster has happened, so how does our narrative handle the fallout? Well, the story swiftly pivots to comforting the unseen victim. We get this command to halt the grieving process over the fallen mug almost before it even really begins. Don't cry anymore. What's super striking here is the sheer urgency to regulate the emotion. There is absolutely no lingering allowed to mourn this ceramic loss. It's an immediate, forceful push toward moving on, which expertly sets the stage for a highly practical, rather than purely emotional, approach to solving the problem. Which brings us to Section 2, the financial solution, capital, and production. Here we see a fascinating pivot. The crucial point is how quickly the transcript introduces financial readiness as the direct antidote to the favorite mug tragedy. Sorrow is instantly met with liquidity. We've got the cash. That is a massive statement of power, capability, and reassurance. It tells us that in the specific narrative universe, emotional distress can be swiftly neutralized by cold, hard financial resources. You know, a hug is nice and all, but ready capital, that's what actually sets the wheels of resolution into motion. If we break down the rhythmic couplets of the source text, it actually outlines a literal three-step set of operating procedures for recovering from loss. Step 1, you have the cash. Step 2, you initiate production to print some more. Step 3, you await the big blue box at your door. Just like that, it transforms a moment of everyday household sadness into a structured, highly efficient logistical pipeline. And this brilliantly illustrates the production side of the equation. It suggests an almost magical, basically limitless capacity to replace whatever was broken on the floor. Let's print some more implies we don't have to go hunting for some rare antique. We can just generate a replacement completely on demand. Whether that's meant to be 3D printing or just a broader metaphor for modern manufacturing, this phrase embodies a world without scarcity. The very second something is destroyed, the machinery to duplicate it is instantly activated. And that leads us right into Section 3, the blue box, resolution, and instant gratification. Seriously, just look at the sheer speed of this narrative universe. We move instantly from a shattered ceramic tragedy at second 0 to a fully funded strategy at second 1, straight to a doorstep delivery at second 2, all in the blink of an eye. The friction between losing something, processing that loss, and acquiring a replacement has been entirely erased. It perfectly highlights a hyper-accelerated modern reality where anticipation and waiting are just completely bypassed. This dynamic perfectly contrasts the initial state of sorrow we saw at the beginning with the final manufactured emotional peak of the delivery. We go from the raw need to soothe crying directly to a narrative that has completely overwritten that negative emotion with a bright, shining surprise. It's an incredibly efficient emotional turnaround, driven start to finish by a purely transactional logistical process. The big blue box serves as the ultimate vessel of resolution here, arriving directly at the door to literally erase the memory of the floor incident. Think about the color blue. It often symbolizes reliability and calm, which perfectly counteracts the total chaos of the broken mug. It's not just some cardboard package. It is the physical embodiment of the promise made earlier, that available cash has been seamlessly converted back into comfort, delivered right to the threshold of the person who experienced the loss. The entire 37-word saga culminates in this single word, surprise. It acts as a neat little bow wrapping up this lightning-fast cycle of loss, funding, and instant gratification. Now, analytically speaking, it's not truly a surprise, right? I mean, they literally just announced they had the cash and were printing more. But emotionally, it functions perfectly as a reset button. The favorite mug is replaced, the tears are dried, and the narrative loop is successfully closed with pure joy. To wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you pondering the wild speed of this micro story. I have to ask, in the face of sudden loss, is the big blue box always the guaranteed resolution? We've just watched how quickly capital and logistics can patch a moment of grief in this transcript. But think about your own experiences for a second. Does instant replacement truly fix what was broken on the floor, or is it simply a highly efficient distraction? Keep that question in the back of your mind the next time a metaphorical favorite mug shatters in your own life. Thanks for exploring this incredibly dense 37-word universe with me.